Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the LTL True Crime Podcast. I hope everybody's having an amazing Saturday, Super Saturday night. Gonna do a late night stream here. I wanted to go back over the indictment hearing because it was so good. It was so good. And I just want to relive that moment. So I thought we would kick back tonight, hang out a little bit, have some fun, have some laughs again. I have some new you'll see. I have some new audio that I'm going to play during the hearing as well, and I think we can have a little bit more fun with this. Tonight. So let's sit back. We'll go over this again because it was just so good to watch the dismissal of indictment. Brian Kohberger dismissal indictment hearing. It was just the greatest thing, and it was such a beatdown from Judge. So we will. We'll sit there and watch. Yeah, we'll watch Antiello cringe again. I think it'd be nice for some review. And then what I do plan on doing is in about a week, when we come up on the anniversary, I'm going to put something together. And I don't want to say like the anniversary to celebrate, but we know that fateful day is coming up, and it's just horrible. It's going to be 1 year, and we'll do something to look back and go back over everything again. So let's get back into the hearing. Let's pull this up again. I think we'll have a little bit of fun with this tonight and get to relax a little bit. I want to go over it again and just make sure that I'm very clear as to what happened in that hearing, because we kind of buzzed through it the other night. But let's sit back. We'll hang out here on this Saturday night. Let's see. I'm gonna just look up here. Ron's in the room. MJC said, "Didn't we go this all over?" Yes, but it's so good. It's so good. We got to go over it again. Frazier's in the house. Rogue is here. Thank you for being here. Vanderhoof is here. She says, "Sweet, I'm just in time. Good to see you." She says, "I haven't seen anything in the past week. I have been so darn busy." Well, you're here now, and we're going to hang out, and we're going to go through this. It's damn good. It's that good. It's that good. Carrie's here. Good to see you, Carrie. I actually just hit her up on Instagram about, 20 minutes ago. I was like, "Hey, I'm having a late night stream." So we'll hang out Saturday night. Let's pull this sucker up. Everybody will come in. Come on in, everybody. I feel like JLR. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. Come hang out. We'll hang out. And let's see. El Detective Dewan says, "Finally a decent channel on tonight." Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, let's have a little bit of fun. Kelly's here. Kelly's got the corn. Good to see you, Kelly. Grab some coffee. Let's hang out. Let's go through this again. It's so good. Oh, yeah. Listen to this. When we hear the dates that go back to like 17 and 1800, ready? But we'll go through that. So I put that together, and I think we'll have some fun with this. All right, let's get going. Let's play through this. Is there like a horn or something? Like, can we find a horn? I wonder if they have a horn. Let's see, or like a fife. I don't know. Oh, they do. They have like a French horn. When we hear the dates, you should throw the French horn up. Throw that French horn up. Or like what is it? I wonder if they have like a because that's like a fife. I don't think they have a fife. Do they have what do they call that? A flute. I wonder if they have a flute. No flute. So you're gonna have to do probably the horn. The French horn. Throw the French horn up. We'll do that when we hear the dates. When we start using dates. All right, let's play. Fife is a flute. Yeah, I know, same thing. But I don't think they have a fife. There's no fife.
Let's get on the record, please.
This dude always clenching his cheeks, man.
Thank you. We're now on the record.
Hey, Heather, how are
State
you?
of Idaho versus Brian Kohberger.
Echo.
Case number CR 29222805. You have that adjusted properly? Okay, great. Couple of things I just want to share.
You just feel like Judge is like, I just want this to be over with. Hear him that big sigh. He's like, this shit again. And you gotta remember, they had a closed hearing that day. They had a closed hearing earlier that day.
05.
He's tired. He's like, fuck this.
You have that adjusted properly? Okay, great. Couple of things I just want to share. Number one, I apologize for the delay. We were supposed to start at 1 o'clock. The hearing.
I mean, does he just sound burnt out? He's like, fuck this case. I want to go home. I mean, he's so burnt out. Yeah, you got the horns there, the French horn, the trumpet. Just throw those up. When we start hearing the dates, the defense starts throwing out the dates, we can throw all that stuff up. Hilarious. All right, let's get playing.
9:30 went a little long, but it was important. You're probably wondering why it was sealed compared to this part of the hearing, and that is
I'm gonna take my air conditioner out tomorrow.
We were dealing
freezing
with,
in here. I'm freezing to death.
Of the grand jury, the procedures of the grand jury, and in a lot of details. And the grand jury is secret. So that's why it's sealed, and whether you like it or not, it's baked into our United States Constitution and the Idaho Constitution. So there's a reason for that. I advised camera people not to turn on the cameras until I was on the record, and they turn off when the record is off. I just want to remind you, you just heard Matt talk to you about not having your phones, your laptops to film anything, to record anything. That would be a violation of the rules. And we will take away your laptop or your phone. Some of these rules have been violated in some of our hearings, and I have an obligation to put a stop to that. And I'm sure you're probably interested in this. I haven't put a decision out yet, but what I'm going to do is take control of the cameras in the courtroom. I'm not going to ban cameras in the courtroom, but I need to have more control over what the cameras are doing and what media or people who are not media are doing with the filming.
Real quick, I just want to give you some thoughts here. I literally have thought about Chelsea Grimm this entire day, and what I did was Steve and I have been talking for about the last 48 hours pretty extensively. I'm set to have a private conversation with him tomorrow. So that will be off the record. I looked at his rates and I was going to try to crowdfund, like maybe through an auction or something, to try to get him back out on the case for like another day or two. Unfortunately, his rate is 175 an hour, and he has a 30-hour minimum. That would be $5,200. I can't come up with that kind of money. And I would want him to do at least 2 more days on Chelsea's case, but unfortunately, I can't come I'm not gonna be able to put that money together. Um, I'm just, like, really worried that her case is going to go cold, and that bothers me. It bothered me all day at work. And his rates are public. His rates are public. I mean, you can look at it. He has a link to his site. It's not bullshit, that's what his rates are. Um, but I just feel like the lifeline is gonna go cold. So what I'm gonna do tomorrow is I'm going to put together a review of the timeline and like I was started doing like one of those little connecting things, but it's just too much work. So I think I'm just gonna timeline everything and put in like my notes as far as like some of the witness spotting, stuff like that. So I want to do a show about Chelsea tomorrow and just go over the timeline again. And I plan on doing at least one time a week, just having a Chelsea stream because it just really bugs me. Um, it's just a shame that Steve's not on the case anymore. And I'm sorry, I know we're doing like Kohberger stuff, but this case has really gotten to me. And if I didn't have a full-time job and I had the capability to get out to Arizona for like a couple of weeks, I would just go and I would do my own investigating. But it's just the position I'm in. I'm like 6 months to at least a year away from being free of working a corporate job ever again and being able to sustain just off my YouTube channel. I still have a lot of work to do, but it bothered me all day at work, and I thought that like I could come up with the funds to, I was thinking like, oh, it's probably like 1,500, 2 grand a day or something, but his rates are high, and he's very good at what he does. And I can't afford $5,000 or $10,000. I wouldn't be able to come up with that. So it's a lot to ask. But him and I are going to have a call tomorrow. It's going to be off the record, and I'm excited to talk to Steve. And it's nice that him and I are building trust between each other to talk, and maybe we'll be able to share some information about Chelsea's case. Um, so anyway, I'll give you updates tomorrow after I talk to him and see what we can come up with, see what we can do. Let me look at the Ollie in the chat. Hey man, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while. I hope you are well. I saw you in JJ's the other night, but thanks for being here. Okay, let's go through this. We'll have a little bit of fun tonight, and we'll watch the beatdown. We'll watch the judge beatdown.
I know I can only control so much, and that's why I continue to urge people to be patient and have some dignity and some restraint. And some of that I've
said you're
heard
fat
or
and
seen
sassy.
has been
Have you ever seen the
disappointing.
you ever see that meme about it's like a lady, it's a clip, it's like a meme clip, and she goes, "What are you gonna do?" And she's like, what are you gonna do during the storm? She's probably just gonna stay home, probably eat a lot of soups and stay fat and sassy. I'm good, man. It's good to see you. I hope you're well. Hope things are good for you. Gonna stay home and just eat lots of soups and get fat and sassy. Remember that? You remember that meme? Remember that? It was funny, that lady. I can't play it because I know they'd nail me on it. All right, let's play. Let's play.
Just so you know, yesterday I issued an order addressing IgG DNA, and there's going to be an order for in-camera review that I'm going to go through. In-camera does not mean anything about a camera. That just means I look at the information before I can share it with the defense. You see, what else did I want to kind of share with everybody? I think that's about it. So
He's like, I'm done with
we're
it.
here now on the defense motion to dismiss.
He's like, all right, go ahead,
indictment
dickhead.
On grounds of error in grand jury instructions or in the alternative remand for preliminary hearing. So Mr. Logston, I believe, is going to.
He's like, all right, go ahead,
present the
dickhead.
argument. Thank you.
Hey, Your Honor. Well, as Your Honor is aware, I wrote a lengthy
Oh boy.
brief or two on the subject of
Hey, Allie, how are you?
where we're supposed to be legally with our grand juries and where we actually are. And as Your Honor let me know this morning, probably not going to change your mind because the Idaho Supreme Court has, I think the court thinks, got me a little. So I guess I would accept
I
that
love
kind of
Thompson.
ruling
He's just
on
like,
for
fuck
everything
this.
else that happens.
Oh, well,
But
I don't know about that.
assuming that you don't, let's, I guess, just
This just reminds me of like the biggest used car salesman pitch. You know, the reason you want this car is because it goes 5 miles an hour faster than the one over here. And I can tell you, it's just like a fucking used car salesman pitch. It's so bad.
walk through the simple
Like an infomercial.
steps here. So at issue in this particular case is Idaho Code 19-1107.
Yeah, no shit, right?
And the infamous language in it
happening.
that says that grand jury ought to find indictments when all evidence before them taken together, unexplained or contradicted, would in their judgment warrant a conviction.
Oh, there you go, Mary. She has the
First
drum.
question
It's
that the
great.
court has to ask
I love it. That's what we got to put up, the drum.
Start with the plain language, which we argue what warrants a finding or a conviction by a trial jury is beyond a reasonable doubt. And it meant that
How are you?
back in 1887, when the territory took all of these statutes,
Hello.
almost entirely from the state of California, and it means it today. And then we also pointed out that the great state of California, when they had these on their books from back in the 50s, had already a case in 1962 where they said that it's clearly something more than probable cause, but they weren't too specific about exactly what. And the state has pointed out that if you look at really old white fishing, it's like your warrant. Old time folks, it does to us. If it warrants doing something, it would permit doing it. So the plain language seems to support what we're saying. And the
Ann Taylor, she's like, fuck this.
biggest problem that I have then is just that obviously everyone in the country disagrees with me, from sea to shining sea. And so I'm now put in a position of trying to explain why that occurred and why in the year of our Lord 2023, we are suddenly finding out that that's not quite how things are supposed to be. Why did we forget that we passed all these laws? And I don't have a great answer for that.
History lesson.
Other than,
Here it
the only
comes.
time I ever heard about field codes before I was looking into this was like a really short moment in a class that I took back in law school.
Oh boy.
So, I mean,
Look at Kohberger.
it's
He's
famously
like, what the fuck
the
is
first
going on
attempt
right now?
to codify the law of the day. It takes place in New York in and spreads across the country back in 1850. And I think
Oh boy.
what I read in the tea leaves from the New York decisions and the late California decisions is that there was pushback at some of the things that the field code is trying to do. And one of the things the field code very openly said is trying to do is fix the grand jury. Because the grand jury system was believed to be essentially broken. For a lot of the same reasons we don't seem to like grand juries very much today. We essentially believe that grand juries were hard to control. Grand juries would essentially always favor whatever it is they were told. They would always and so as a system to protect people, it didn't seem very protective. And they pointed out in the field code, if you go back and read it, that essentially the secrecy aspect of the grand jury is both its most powerful sword and its kind of its worst aspect at the same time. Because you just don't know what you're going to get out of it. And so they create a bunch of statutes that start to rein in what grand juries can and can't do. And they create some scenarios under which grand juries can be reviewed. And they, in the New York, they call it their Court of Appeals, it's their Supreme Court, says, even though we have these statutes that say we should only set aside these indictments into these particular moments, clearly there's got to be some sort of a due process protection. If you're going to pass a bunch of statutes that rein in a grand jury, you can show that somebody's not following those to the prejudice of the accused, and that's going to be.
Basically, if anybody's wondering what's going on here, is the defense is arguing the fact of the grand jury instructions. They're saying that the grand jury was never properly instructed as to what in this indictment. And that's essentially what they're arguing. And they're trying to argue case law, but essentially the judge is going to turn around and say, these have been the instructions through Idaho case law since there's been case law. It has never changed. It's not going to change. And they're just trying to get an argument on the record. Essentially, this jibber jabber is all for appeal. It's just to have it on the record. It's just fucking grandstanding, essentially, is what it is. It's a bunch of grandstanding just to get it on the record. So maybe it helps them on appeal if it ever does go to appeal. All right, let's keep playing through here. Excuse me. Kohberger dismissal.
And that
You got
doesn't seem to be very controversial. We see similar language in that Gaspar case that we talked about in the state of Idaho, which I think dates to like 1913 or something along those lines. But at the same time, while the state of New York is trying to figure out ways
I have
to
nothing on.
not have to abide by the language of
I have
what
my
would warrant a conviction.
$2 energy bracelet
You
on.
can tell the grand jury that
I don't think any of them are wearing watches.
their burden, but you can also tell them.
I don't think any of them are wearing
as long as they
watches.
hear both of it, it doesn't really matter. And then the state of Idaho says, well, that's not even what that means, without any additional explanation for what they're talking about. And California apparently
And Taylor looks like she's
about
going to
it
jump out of her
until
skin.
sometime after they've already passed a law in the 40s.
Kohberger's sitting there like, this is good. I like this. This is good. It's good. Keep going. This is good.
That says you can only dismiss a grand jury indictment if you can show that there wasn't probable cause. It kind of moots the whole situation that they've obviously fixed it by statute. Our situation is such that we have this thing.
Let's give away
The
the
only
membership.
group that seems to really dislike it is our Supreme Court.
Members.
Keep having these opinions where they're like,
5 coming
please,
in.
prosecutors, stop
Boom.
telling people it's beyond reasonable doubt. This happens in the early 1900s, and it continues until
Boom.
the 80s, and they finally say, look, we passed a rule. I hope it's clear now. Stop saying that your burden is beyond reasonable doubt. Well, as the court knows, the way that those rules get created is a bunch of people that get invited to parties, like me, in the legal community go and are selected to sit in a room and decide what those rules should say. And there's quite a bit of the time it seems like the Supreme Court will later have an opinion and go, this is weird, why is this one of our rules? And so to simply say that, well, because the Supreme Court wrote it, that's their opinion on the matter isn't quite accurate. But clearly the Edmonton court was behind that as a concept. At the same time, nobody was arguing with them about it. Nobody argued about it, the issue, until just now. Well, that's not quite right. Obviously, Mr. Nosco raised this in a few district court cases up in Green County. But nobody's really been digging into this or raising it until this time. So when the court says, look, the Supreme Court's already got a rule on this, Supreme Court's already ruled on it, it's just not true. They have never ruled that probable cause is the basis because there was an argument about it. And they said, no.
Your gift membership expires because you only get 1 free month on the person that gave it to you. And then you have to have the option to sign back up again. That's why it expires. It's only 1 free month. And then it's on you to reactivate that.
No, you're wrong, that's probable cause. That hasn't occurred. They ruled a lot of things.
So I'll answer this question. Is this a channel? Is this channel a Brian is guilty or innocent until proven guilty channel? So I will be completely honest with you. You can go back and look at, someone challenged me today. They said that I need to go back and do more research on the Brian Kohberger case, that I don't know shit about it. Well, I have well over almost close to 250 videos on my channel about Brian Kohberger. I've been following this case essentially since it happened. So I know a lot about it. We've gone through a lot of the evidence. We've gone through the PCA. We've gone through all the stuff in the media. And I will tell you this. I believe, out of my personal opinion, that there is a lot of evidence against Brian Kohberger. I feel that the evidence is very strong against him. Okay, so if you want to call that, do I think he's guilty? You can call it what it is. And I've always said this too. Someone that we talk about on this channel, if they are in an active court case, that they are always are given their due process. Brian Kohberger is having his day in court. So we will hear out the evidence in the court trial. But if my personal opinion, I feel like he's fried. He's fried eggs. He's bacon in a pan. He's done. That's just my opinion. I can have that opinion. This is my platform, and I can say what I want to say on here. Many people that come here have their own opinion. There are people that watch me that believe that he's guilty. There are people that watch me that don't think he's guilty. And there are people that watch me that say, I really need to hear more about this case before I make that decision. But as myself and the creator and the owner of this channel, I can have the opinion and say, I think the evidence is very strong against him. I think he's going to have a lot of problems. And he's had a lot of problems. 1, his alibi sucks. 2, he has a pretty bad defense team. And 3, bottom line is, the end of the day, as much as people like to talk about this all the time, is that the end of the day, his DNA was found on a knife sheath on a bed with 2 brutally murdered women that he's going to have to answer for. And that's just my opinion. That's my opinion. So I have no problem sharing that opinion. It's just how I feel. You know, some people like yellow, some people like blue, some people like green, some people like brown. You know, that's my opinion. So that's where we're at. But he's not guilty right now, and he is will be given that due process in court. But I can have my opinion. It's just like if you watch a football game, you think the Patriots are going to win, you think the Jets are going to win today. I don't know. I think the Patriots are going to win. Why? Because their offense is this or the defense is this. I can have that opinion. So, yeah, I'm very honest about it. And I've been honest since day one. I mean, since I really started to look into it at first, it just didn't add up to me. When I read through the PCA, and we've gone through it multiple times here, we've gone through all the legal documents that we can get our hands on. And I always said, once you start connecting all the dots, I think it's pretty evident to what happened there. I think it's pretty evident the involvement that he has in this. This is my opinion. So, yeah, I'm not mad at all. Just explaining it. I'm totally not mad at all. I'm super calm, and I'm just explaining it, making it very clear for people when they come here. You know, but there's a lot of people here that think the same way I do. That's why they come here. So that's I don't know. I just say, if you don't think that this is if you don't like my channel, you don't have to watch. I mean, some people like vanilla ice cream, some people like chocolate ice cream. I'm a chocolate guy. So, all right, let's keep playing through here.
But that's not one of the ones. And the fact that they adopted a rule that says something that they believe doesn't necessarily set in stone what the law is, or for that matter, what the Constitution has to say about it.
Oh, thank you,
So
Kelly. I appreciate that.
Big issue, I think, at least my favorite issue here, was can the Idaho Supreme Court override the legislation and lower the burden of proof for example? And that was a tricky one because we don't
The thing here that you'll find on LTL True Crime Podcast is this. We don't get into conspiracy theories. We don't shame the families. We don't shame the victims. We don't shame survivors, their communities, like some of these other true crime channels that run streams for 8 hours a day, and they sit there and go over food truck videos, and they look and they go, look at that person. Look at the way that they looked. Look at this way. Look at the way that they looked at her. This is the guy over there. And maybe they did it over there. And the cartel went in the house and they broke in, they kicked the doors and they murdered everybody, and they left and they went over and they wiped all the bloody knives on Kohberger's in his house, on his sheets, everywhere in the car. They stole his car. They drove it there. They found someone that looks like the exact stature like Kohberger and dressed him up and ran in the house and did all this stuff. We don't do that stuff here. We look at the facts, we base our opinions off the legal documents, and we come to our conclusions. I see a lot of even just the crazy pro Kohberger people come up with the most outlandish shit that is off just on another planet. But no, I've been very, very open here on this channel how I feel about it, how I feel about this case. So I don't know. For me, if I was accused of a quadruple homicide, probably one of the most prolific cases in the last decade, probably longer than that, and someone's accusing me of a quadruple homicide, I'd be fucking screaming. And if I knew that I was innocent, I'd be fucking screaming from my jail cell. I would give every opportunity to every media outlet that wanted to interview me to say they got the wrong guy. So why hasn't he done one interview? And I understand he has the right to not speak. He can remain silent, which is fine. But why no alibi? Why did it take him so long to come up with the driving around alibi? I don't know. To me, driving around seemed a lot like the killer was doing that night. Just driving around. So I don't know. There's also new reports coming out. And again, they're just rumors. But the rumors are they've got this guy on camera up and down and all over that neighborhood for months before all this happened. So I don't know. All right, let's keep playing.
We have a case that just comes out and says that the burden, or for that matter, I guess I don't know, we got this all kind of mixed up when we were doing the arguing. So the burden of proof, I think we decided was actually who has to show something, and then it was the standard of proof is the amount that has to be shown. But everybody confuses it all the time, and I'm confusing it right now as well. But I'll call it the standard of proof just to be less confusing. In any case, the standard of proof is that something that the judiciary has power over. In other words, is that simply a procedural rule, or is it a substantive rule of law that courts can't mess around with? And we argued, it cannot be that if the Supreme Court woke up tomorrow and declared that the standard of proof in our cases was something beyond reasonable doubt in trial cases, that we would also say, oh, well, that's what the courts get to do. Because if you read those cases, what they talk about is that is a right, a due process right, essentially, of the accused that is set by the Constitution, right? That's what In re Winship is. It set the standard via the Constitution, locking in the standard of proof that's required for it. And so when we talk about these standards of proof, it is true, obviously, that if you look through case law, you'll see courts setting a standard of proof for their own evidentiary rules. But you don't see it in many other places. What you see them doing instead is having somebody come in and say, well, the legislature set this standard of proof, but we think you should make it higher or lower based on, and almost nobody ever says lower is always higher. And we're always arguing that the Constitution clearly must set it in at some higher point to protect people, and then the courts lean in and say, well, we don't see any particular reason why the legislature messed this up, or if you're in the United States Supreme Court, occasionally you say, well, we do think that this is goofy and we're going to raise it. Okay? I couldn't find a case where the Supreme Court or anybody else leaned in and said, we think that the legislature is being a little too protective of its people here. And we're going to move down the standard of proof for the government in this particular case, or one party versus the other. Typically, in this country, we try to protect the accused, and we believe that those protections are given to us via the Constitution and via these concepts of due process that come to us with common law, which is where this gets so messy, because the common law would tell you that it's probable cause, and it's some guy named Field in New York who's telling you that it should be something else. Well, we could get into all of that.
He does look like he is 6.
But it would be, I think, more philosophical than anything else, because the state of Idaho didn't do it that way. The state of Idaho, as a territory, adopts a bunch of codes out of California, a code that they've already looked at, a code that they've already
Oh
said.
shit, he does have
These
6 fingers,
words
doesn't he?
clearly mean something more than
Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like he has 6 fingers. I thought he did it first. I thought he had 6 fingers. It really looks like he does. Does he have 6 fingers, doesn't he? Oh shit. This is what happens when you friggin' fire up a late night stream. Thank you so much for the 6 months of support. Yes, I know we talked about this the last time. The bailiff is sitting there like I can't fucking believe what this guy's saying. I think he has 6 fingers. Oh, I think he does. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's a 6 finger in there somewhere.
probable cause. This is what you're adopting.
Oh.
The state of Idaho and adopts.
He just has a weird
So
hand.
that's what the state of Idaho is adopting. I obviously recognize that
my
the
chest
founders that wrote the Constitution did not appear to recognize
It really
what
he just
is
has a
already on the
weird
books
hand.
in this regard. However,
Oh,
just because they didn't recognize that,
I'm hurting.
it's not still part and parcel of what
Look at Ann Taylor. She's
thought
out of her
was
skin.
by a large portion of the citizens of Idaho, who are the actual ones who ratified the document. The only thing we know is that from 1890 to Edmonton, the Supreme Court of Idaho was repeatedly admonishing prosecutors to stop using it beyond reasonable doubt for a hearing. That seems to me is pointing to this concept, and we're going to talk about common practice. Common practice looks to have been everybody thought the standard for the grand jury was beyond reasonable doubt.
I didn't put my hand.
You know, I don't think this is like worthy of the parade of nightmares that I've been reading about. Obviously, in each one of those cases, the prosecutor was able to pull it up. And
Did he take a
we
note?
wonder, I mean,
Did he scratch something on a pad? I don't think he moved. I don't see that he moved to a pen or anything. Ann Taylor's taking notes. She got a pen right here.
it's still a grand jury proceeding. It's still just the prosecutor in a room with 16 citizens, 12 of which have to agree. They get control over basically everything that's being put on. I mean, the guardrails being put in, hey, let's use admissible evidence. Hey, let's not pull in hearsay witnesses. That kind of thing.
No,
is
he's
not
got his
going to
hands
somehow
together.
Make this
He's like this.
impossible and make it so that it can't possibly work. What it's intended to do is just
No, he's not writing.
make it
His
so
hands
that
are right there.
if you're in a
He
position
just has them like this
to
on
get
the
an
table.
indictment against somebody, you're going to put on your A game. But obviously, we've been talking a bit about how we don't think that that's what occurred in this particular case. And we certainly don't think that if the court were to adopt this in this particular case, that this would even remotely cut the mustard, because we know from the grand jurors that at least 6 of them wanted to hear more until they were essentially cut off and told probable cause is the standard and what are you people doing?
You probably should cut that, what the grand jurors did or didn't do.
Fair enough, good. But
I just cut him down right there.
I'm just pointing out that there's clearly prejudice in the record that the court can see from what they want being instructed. It's also, as we argued, clearly going to be fundamental error. You tell the grand jury that this is the standard and it's actually something else. You can't possibly think that the result that you're getting is the accurate one, so you have to do it again. These are fundamental rights that people have, so clearly that would be the way.
Right, but you just agreed that the court and the case law, going back to at least Edmondson, have the standard as probable cause. So, to just say, well, they were given the wrong instruction is not exactly the case. I mean, that is the standard that has been used in Idaho for years, maybe 100.
Yeah, it's the moment right there. That's the dagger in the heart moment. He's like, maybe for 100 years. Let's back up a little bit.
Instruction is not exactly the case. I mean, that is the standard that has been used in Idaho for years, maybe 100 years.
Ooh.
It was different. It was different there for a period of time, but after Edmondson, I thought that it was settled. Now, I understand the argument between substantive and procedural. And that's a legitimate argument, but I'm not sure it's fair to just say, well, they were given the wrong instructions if everybody's using that instruction throughout the state.
Look at all those subscribers.
Well, Your Honor, if that was true, then I'm not really sure what I'm doing with my life, because I've spent much of it arguing that things that everyone in the state is doing is wrong.
True.
And occasionally, rarely, but occasionally, somebody says, no, that guy's right, and my client walks out of prison. So
Well, that's fine. You can make an
Bill
argument
is
that
smiling.
something should change, but are you telling me that other places in the state are giving a different instruction, that it should be beyond a reasonable doubt?
what I'm telling the court is that it appears that up until 1980, that was true. And so the Supreme Court enters this rule, sort of has this ruling that talks about that, but nobody's arguing about it because they don't have access to the internet. Nobody has a copy of the field code or what California was up to.
Well, Justin Weisslein argued about it in a dissent in Edmondson.
And we thank him for it, although.
Okay.
If
You
you
can't
go
say
back-
that there hasn't been an argument about it.
Well. No. If you go back and you read what Justice Weisslein did, Justice Weisslein didn't know about the field code. He knew it came out of California. He knew that it meant something different.
I
Thompson.
think it's attached on the dissent.
That's
Some of that.
No,
Oh,
California.
those are earlier. Oh, that's the earlier session.
He has the California code, and he has the stuff from the territories. That's what he's got. But he doesn't know. I mean, if you read the field code, which apparently nobody did, except Justice Field in California. If you read it, it literally tells you what it's trying to do. It spells it right out, and you can find it for free on Google Books. Where I got it, I don't have a copy. I'm not even sure where you find it, but except for Google Books, you can find this thing, and they have a whole preamble to how
Look at Kohberger. It's like,
they're
what?
trying to save the concept of the grand jury. They want it to be better than what it is. They understand people have concerns about it. Let's make it better. And it gets adopted in California, and then we took it from that. And then that's what I think should matter. And the fact that the plain language of the statute is being read by every prosecutor in the state up into the 80s when the Supreme Court finally gets them to stop, because the statute's relatively clear.
Kohberger's like,
And so the only person who's pushing back against this are these Idaho Supreme Court justices who don't like it. But there's nobody coming to them and saying, here's a copy of the field code, this is where this all comes from, this was the point. Instead, there's just this concern that who could possibly
no, the thing is, like, with body language and stuff, and I'm not trashing that channel because I like to watch Dr. G. You know, I think that's all. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Ali can jump in on this one. Ali, let me ask you a question. Like body language, because you know a little bit about this stuff. Like body language experts, that's pretty much just what's the word I'm looking for? Is the right word conjecture? Like when you know what I mean? Like what I'm getting at. It's not definite, but it's like an opinion, right? Or do you actually get like can you get a degree in that? Can you get a degree in body language? I'm wondering. Is there like a clinical degree that you can get for that? Conjecture? Is that wrong? I don't know. Maybe I'm using the wrong word. Let's look at what conjecture. Let's see. An opinion or conclusion formed based on incomplete information, right? Yeah, it's not a science, right? It's just kind of it's just an opinion, isn't it? It's a very soft science and it's hugely culturally dependent. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you know, it's just an opinion. You know, he might be a clinical psychologist as a doctor, but body language, I think, is just conjecture. Yeah, I mean, they're just taking simple scenarios and looking at situations over and over again. I get it. I guess if you study that after a while, you would have you know, it's an opinion. It's basically an opinion. Yeah. Yeah, it's not it's a very soft science. But I do like watching his channel. I think some of the stuff he comes up with is great. He obviously knows what he's talking about. But yeah, I think it's just a very soft science. There's nothing wrong with that, you know. All right, let's play through. We'll get through this here.
How would we be safe if our communities are only able to indict people beyond reasonable doubt? It's just too much. It's too high a stake. That's hard to believe given how many of these cases are making it up because they were convicted. There's no reports anywhere that I was able to find that in the state of Idaho, all these prosecutors were mistaken when using beyond reasonable doubt. There's just like no indictments going on. Nobody was going to prison. Nobody was getting the death penalty. It's a free for all.
Ollie says there are now whole programs like at UMass Lowell that are trying entirely to train people on how bad some of the micro expression and body language myths are. Oh boy.
And we had, posses riding around and having to deliver justice because the standard was too high of the grand jury proceeding. But that's not what was occurring. What you had was a perfectly well-running system that you had Supreme Court justices that were not aware of where this stuff was going. If somebody had come to them and said it, we have a ruling. But nobody did. In fact, we don't have really any state that's ever done the heavy work of this.
I never
The
thought
New
of it
York
before.
Court of Appeals is about the only one that was aware because it happened there.
Excuse me.
And they've kind of let it drain away over time. Well,
Welcome in everybody to this
other states can do what they
888
want. They can
LTL.
pass
Thank
these
you.
statutes. Their constitutions are older than ours, etc. Our constitution was written in 1890.
Oh.
So it's going to lock in what the people thought that they had as their law, and what they consider to be their standard due process. And The only history we have is you got the Supreme Court saying you don't have that right. You got a bunch of prosecutors of all people thinking that. And that's what you're looking at. The fact that the rest of the country is off doing other things, I don't think necessarily matters. What matters in terms of the courts has to read plain language of statute. The court has to consider the fact that, at the very least, California knew what was up to, and that even if the people who wrote our Constitution didn't know what was going on, that doesn't mean that the people who wrote the Idaho revised statutes in 1887 didn't know what they were signing on for. And
Did I miss it
whether or
again?
not they were sitting at the Constitutional Convention isn't something that I put enough effort into to figure that one out, but I don't think it necessarily answers the question. Anyway, I think the only other thing I wanted to touch on is how, by agreeing with me, the court is able to save the indictment by turning it into a presentment. There's a presentment. There's a lot laxer evidentiary rules and everything else. Much of the complaints we would have about it essentially disappeared, and the state has its presentment. And as far as I'm told, one of the reasons why we had a grand jury in this case is because in another case, I had argued that if you don't do a grand jury, you can't have the death penalty, which I still believe. But if you have a presentment, that's also listed. And so the state still gets what it wants. And we get a preliminary hearing. Which,
That's, bam, that's the moment that you want. That's what I wanted to, I remembered this, and that's what I wanted to hear. They're just trying to turn this all around, because I'm going to tell you right now, and this is what I keep saying to all these like pro Kohberger people. They don't have shit. They have shit for this defense for this guy. They want to get to a preliminary hearing to hear more of the evidence so they can build their case, because they know they're in fucking trouble. They don't have an alibi for this guy. The DNA needs to be explained on that sheath in a bed with 2 dead women. They know they don't have shit. So that was the moment right there. What do we want to get to? Oh, and then judge, with my 6-fingered hand, we're going to get a preliminary hearing. See? That's what they want. They want that fucking preliminary hearing because they want to see what the state has. What other evidence does the state have? And this is what I keep saying. And everybody keeps challenging me on this, stream after stream after stream. Everybody thinks that they've heard all of the evidence. You've probably heard a tenth of it. And you're going to be amazed. I think your jaw is going to drop when we get into the trial and find out that they had skin cells of him in the room, skin cells all over the bed. They processed that carpet in the room. Maybe he cut himself during the commission of this crime, and there's more blood or DNA out there. There's so much. This case is behind so many seals. It's completely sealed. So there is shit that the grand jury is hearing that we haven't even fucking heard yet in this case. I'm telling you. I get 6 fingers. That was a bad magician trick. I have 6 fingers. But that's what they want. They want that preliminary hearing. That's the moment. Oh, look, judge, and we get, with my 6-fingered hand, a preliminary hearing. That's the thing. They want to see what the state has. This is what this whole argument is about, because they know the indictment's not going to get thrown out. And even if it did get thrown out, and I have to readjust my camera here, even if it did get thrown out, oh no, what's going on? Readjust. Don't do this. Don't do this. Here we go. Even if it did get thrown out, they know that there is enough evidence that literally this guy would be reindicted tomorrow. So let's go back and listen to that a little bit again. And I wish the volume was a little louder, but it's not. All right. Shh, shh. I promise I won't talk or make any sounds. Ready?
it has its presentment. And as far as I'm told, one of the reasons why we had a grand jury in this case is because in another case, I had argued that if you don't do a grand jury, you can't have the death penalty, which I still believe. But if you have a presentment, that's also listed. And so the state still gets what it wants. And we get a preliminary hearing, which it seems to me would be worth the candle for us.
I think there was some instruction about present for the grand jury, was it not? They were given that option.
Well, I think they were told about it. So I don't know. I mean, the court maybe can find it. I can't find a single presentment in the history of Idaho. So I don't know if they've really ever been used.
I don't know.
And I hadn't really even thought about what they are, what they meant until taking up this argument. But from what I could tell, going back to the field code and looking at everything else in the statutes that we have on hand, I mean, essentially, it's like grand jury light. Typically, for the presentment, the idea for who is getting the presentment seems to come from the grand jury members themselves. They just come in with some information about somebody, they make an accusation like it's a complaint, and then it goes out and gets treated more like a complaint than it does an indictment. I don't know if the court found anything otherwise. That's the way that it appears supposed to work. Like I said, I don't know if anybody's ever done one, but I do think that what the state accomplished in the indictment in this proceeding would easily meet the requirements for present. And I don't think we would have any real ability to argue with it. I mean, the grand jury itself can just come in and say, these are some facts I heard from my neighbor, and I think that guy committed a crime, and that's enough to start the wheels of justice. And I'm relatively certain we've met that requirement. And so if the court does that, then the state still has a piece of paper that says the death penalty can be sought from the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution. And a preliminary hearing would be offered to give us the ability to take a closer look at this case than what was given.
All right, Ollie got me to talk.
So
He sent me a $20 super sticker. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Now I'm back. My voice is back. Thank you so much for the 20.
Does Fred have any questions? It looks like you might.
I might on
Thank
your
you.
reply.
Okay.
We'll see.
That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Nye?
Rage quit. Rage quit.
Thank you, Your Honor. As much as I enjoy the frolic through legislative history, as a trial attorney, we usually have a shortcut,
Oh,
and that is to check to see if
Smashing.
the Idaho Supreme Court has ruled on the issue. And in this case, it has multiple times. So in Edmondson, the Supreme Court said, and I quote, "The purpose of the grand jury proceeding is to determine whether sufficient probable cause exists to bring the defendant over for trial. The determination of guilt or innocence is saved for a later day. As long as the grand jury has received legally sufficient evidence, which in and of itself supports a finding of probable cause, it is not for an appellate court to set aside the indictment." This court is bound by that holding. The Idaho Supreme Court applied that holding.
I was talking to Tsunami before I went live.
Martinez and
I don't know where he
both
went.
cited in my brief. The Court of Appeals has applied that
And I were talking on the phone just before I went live.
holding repeatedly. This court is also bound by its holdings. The only other thing I would add is, to summarize Mr. Allison's argument, Idaho law supports it as long as you ignore the Idaho Supreme Court. California law supports it as long as you ignore the California Supreme Court.
Who are my Idaho people here? I think Great Dane Mom is from Idaho. I know Vanderhoof is. If you are, how far are you from the King Road house? Like within driving distance? I'm curious to see how far you are from the house.
Supreme Court. Idaho's constitutional history supports it as long as you ignore the founding fathers.
Driving
I can
distance.
go on, but there's nothing.
5
here.
minutes?
The Idaho Supreme Court.
Whoa.
This-
Wow.
Unless the court.
That's intense. 40 to 45. Wow, that's intense. Whew. Damn. That's super intense. When I lived there, I was about 15-minute drive. Damn, that's close. Vanderhoof, 40 to 45. Damn. I wish I could pay someone to go by there and grab me some footage of the house. I would literally do that just to have some stuff. Damn, that's intense. Whoa, my kiddo's office was next door to BK at WSU. Wow, that's intense. Wow, you guys never told me that before. That's nuts. Megan says it's so scary because many party houses like that where anyone could walk in. Yeah, but I think we know what's going on in this case. Yeah, I know what's going on. Damn, that's nuts. My daughter was at college in Lewiston at the time of the murders. Whoa. In Maine, right? Damn. I still have friends in that area. I can ask a friend to drive by. Yeah, I'd like a good 8 minutes. Like a good 8-minute video. Be great. My daughter partied in the house. In the King Road house? Get the hell out of there. Wow, dude, that's intense. Look at all the stuff that's coming out. Super, super intense. Wow. Great Dane says, I'm all in. My client's granddaughter lives in one of the houses next door. Wow, that's nuts. Enjoy the 1 month on Carrie. Carrie with the 5. Thank you, Carrie. Wow. This is intense. Yeah, she did in 2000. Whoa, that's super intense. You know people that have actually been inside the King Road house? Fuck. It was a couple of years before this. Wow, that's intense. I partied there in 2012. Wow. You guys never told me this stuff. That's super intense. Do you have any photos from in there when you were in there? Do you know if anybody like you or anybody has photos? Carrie, thanks for the 5. That was really nice. Do you have any photos like when you were in there? Damn, that fucking house was like famous. A lot of people went through there. My kiddo sorority is next door to Sigma Chi. Wow. Does anybody have any photos of like when they were inside the house? I'd like to see those. That's nuts. Wow, that's intense. All right, let's keep playing.
Questions?
Well, I can understand why.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Mr. Nye.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Loxton, you want to add anything else?
Well, that's just not what happened. I mean, Judge, courts say things all the time. We call it dicta. When a court is listing off,
Sometimes we call it the law.
sometimes, but what we're talking about when we talk about Edmondson is we're talking about dicta. I mean, nobody was arguing in that case that probable cause was the standard. They were arguing over whether or not it's fair that some people get a prelim and some people get a grand jury.
I'll pay you gas
That's
money.
what that argument was about. And the guy didn't come in and say, oh no, I got a grand jury and the standard is beyond a reasonable doubt.
Reach out to me if anybody can do
I
it.
don't
I'll
like
take
that.
care of
I'd
your
rather
gas
have a
money
prelim
for
with
you.
a probable cause standard. That
For
doesn't
you,
occur in that
the
case
gas.
for various, I'm sure, fantastic reasons.
Like
And
good
the same
8
thing happens in
minutes.
these later cases.
I'd like the whole front and the walk around to the back into that back lot. That's what I would want to see. You know, like, and not like video like this either. I want good horizontal video. If someone could ever get that for me. Megan said, yeah, that's horizontal, right? Yeah, horizontal verticals this way. I want like good full frame horizontal video for video. Megan says, when it first happened, I thought it was off grid because that's that thing in northern Idaho and could be in the wilderness in less than an hour from that house. My kiddo's sorority sister was the last murder in Moscow. Her boyfriend killed her. Wow, that's crazy. Wow, look at this. Great Dane mom says, I'll check my photos. I was there in June. Damn. That's nuts.
It gets responded to. And yeah, like I said, the Supreme Court adopted a rule, but it's never tested the constitutionality of its own rule. It's never heard arguments on any of these things. It's not stating a holding after an argument. What it's doing is it's just reviewing what it believes the law to be, that nobody's picking a fight about it. I'm picking a fight about it.
And you may have the opportunity to do that to the Supreme Court.
Well,
I mean, that's what you're
And
building,
if
that's
that's
what you're
true,
building for.
if
Because
that's-
you know that I am constrained by
So Ollie's asking, I wonder if people added photos via Google Maps, do a street view, and then select community to see what pictures people took. Oh, it's not a bad idea. I never thought about that. So you say Google, like Google Earth, is that, or Google Maps? Google Earth or Google Maps? I'm sure people have already looked into this, but I never thought of that. That's a good. You saying Google Earth or Google Maps? Map, street view, layer, and then community. Let's try it out. So Google Maps, 1122 King Road. And then what did he say? Where do I get street view? I'll just share it. Let's just share the screen. I'm sure I'm going to screw this up. So what do I do from here? I never did. I don't mess around with this. Such a fun stream. Thank you. Ever tried Earth Live? No, I've never done that. I've done the Google Earth. I just don't know where to go from here. My therapy does. Lower right, I mean. Oh, this layers. Yep, I see it. And then what am I doing? More? What is this person doing? Stalking, not funny. Goodbye and good luck. Tagged all, tags now. Ow. What the fuck is this person on? Okay. All right. Have a good night. What? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Used to say that back in like high school. Yeah. Okay. What am I doing here? Layers. Where do I go from here? Hey Bella, how are you? Good to see you. So Ollie said layers. I forgot what he said. I'm bad. Map, street view, layer, and then community. What am I missing here? Am I hitting satellite? Yeah, I don't know. These people are weird. Oh, I'm lost. Oh, street view images. Is that what he's talking about? Street view, photo path, learn more. Click highlighted areas to see images. Oh. Am I in the right thing here? Oh, let's go. Let's go. There is no community for that area, huh? I wonder if they removed it. Street view from the right, though. Yeah, they removed it because look, if you go up the street, Ollie, you used to be able to go all the way up here, but so the house is right there. You used to be able to go up this street, but they are not allowing you to go in there anymore, which is like weird. And right here, these are all the camera positions. They're just blanking everything all out. He's going to be caught on camera here. He's going to be caught on camera in this house here. We think there's a camera up here. Yeah, we've been through a lot of this. We actually know that there's camera footage. But yeah. Yeah, we've been through all this. But you used to be able to go up there and they don't allow you up there anymore. Yeah, they pulled it. Yeah, it's just stupid. You used to be able to literally go right up to the house and look over, but they pulled everything out. Yeah, they did. They removed it. Yeah, we've been over this. Let's go back to the hearing. We'll finish that up. Great stream, by the way. Very spontaneous. I didn't really have much planned. I was like, let's go over the hearing again.
Existing law. I can't just change the law
Yeah, this camera's
as a
everywhere.
trial court if it's established. And I would say that in Edmondson, there wasn't an argument because it was settled law. I mean, I think that's really the problem. So, of course, a lot happened from 1880, 1890 to now. But the law doesn't always just sit still. I mean, it evolves. And that may be just what happened naturally. I don't agree that the language of the statute is completely clear to it. I mean, I think you can interpret different ways, and a lot of people have interpreted that language different ways. Whether it's beyond a reasonable doubt or a probable cause. And you can argue with me about that. I mean, I'm kind of baiting you about that. So,
Judge, the cases that say are very self-serving.
Okay.
These are courts that are essentially openly hostile to the idea of using it beyond reasonable doubt. And so they make claims like to warrant really means to permit the trial jury to see.
Thank you,
That's
Cindy.
not the wording of this statute. The California case gets written
Thank you.
in the backdrop
Appreciate you.
of a
From
statute.
Mass. Look at that. My neck of the woods.
In 1940s,
Thanks for being here.
says probable cause is what you're going to look at when you're deciding whether or not these indictments should stand.
Yeah, I saw that.
So it really doesn't, whether or not
Wow.
the grand jury is being told something else to some extent turns into a moot point.
Thanks for sending
I
this.
mean, the reality is, just because the courts didn't like what the legislature adopted, and in our case, unlike California, unlike New York, but what was part of the concept of due process in our Constitution was written. Just because the Supreme Court doesn't like it, doesn't mean it's somehow settled law because it refuses to follow it. It has to actually have a case and determine it. Now, occasionally, they can pass rules like they did, and so that's where this whole question of whether or not this is substantive right.
Let's take a look.
Well, they never ruled on it, and Your Honor has the ability to look at the whole mess, the totality, and say, what is the law? What was the law in 1890, and when did it change? I don't think what the court can write is an opinion that says, well, we don't know when or
Nice
how
dog.
it changed.
Good looking
But by
dog.
1890, clearly the probable cause was the same.
I'll show to everybody. Hang on. We'll take a look at Great Danes. The Great Dane. Look at that dog. That's a good looking dog, right? That's a big dog. Wow. Boy or a girl? That's awesome. Ollie with the 5. Thank you, Ollie. Appreciate it. Thank you for the 5. Enjoy the memberships, everybody. Join all those our members only. Thank you so much. Thanks for the support. That's a good looking dog. Boy or a girl? Look at that dog. Great Dane. Big, 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 big dog. Sitting on Dylan Mortenson's lap. That's pretty intense. Wow. So this is your dog sitting with Dylan Mortenson. Is that what you're saying? That's your dog sitting with Dylan Mortenson? Wow. That's intense. Do you have any photos with her face in it that you could send me? See, this is what I mean. You never know what you're going to find out on LTL True Crime Podcast. That's why I always say all these spontaneous moments bring up all of this stuff. So she must know Dylan, obviously. Wow, that's intense. Look at that. So this is Great Dane's mom's dog, and that is Dylan Mortenson right here with the Idaho sweatshirt on. Wow, that's really intense. I mean, here I am going, that's a great looking dog. That's a pretty dog. She's like, no. Oh, she's part of the national organization that does crisis work. Wow. No faces. No faces. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Wow. So that's Dylan Mortenson right there. No faces allowed. It's all right. No problem. We can respect that. So wait, are you doing therapy treatment with her right now? It really messing with my head that my 2-year-old nephew and Brian both seem to have learned the word intense on the same day. Oh, gee, thanks. So are you doing therapy with her right now? Is that what you're doing? I mean, you don't have to disclose that if it's a medical thing. I don't want you to disclose that on air. But that's super, super intense. Thank you for sharing that. Not now, just when the girls got home. Wow, that's intense. See, you never know what you're going to find out here. Thank you for sharing that story. Thank you for sharing that. Wow, just makes me. That's Dylan Mortenson right there. Wow. Wow. All right, let's finish out this hearing. Thank you for sharing that and sending that. I did give the girls recommendation for the tattoo. Wow.
There has to be something where the Supreme Court considers these things in order for it to be settled law in a way that in which your honor would be right and say, I can't do anything about it. They've never settled this question because nobody ever brought it up. Because it's really hard to get a copy of the field code in 1913. Well, I don't know. But
It was, well, there was I can't remember the name right at this moment, but in the 1950s, there was dicta where the judge, the appellate judge said, no, that's not the standard because they were using the unreasonable doubt in that case. But anyway, there was a discussion in that case about what the standard of proof is or should be in the grand jury. So there have been touches of that along the way, I think, but you're right, there's not a whole lot of law until maybe Edmondson that was pretty clear. And then as Mr. Nye pointed out, a couple of decisions after that. case, but I think it was 1987.
Oh.
Something like that. So, yeah, I mean, I appreciate the argument. It's interesting.
He just shot him down.
I know a lot.
He's laughing at him. He literally just laughed at him.
You're making me.
Edmund decision held some things, it's true, but nobody was arguing about that standard of proof. The fact that they stated while they're walking through what a grand jury is versus what a preliminary hearing is, if that doesn't settle what the standard is. Just because they said it doesn't make it the law. I think their jurisdiction is limited, and yet broader than the United States Supreme Court. Although if you read that most recent opinion where Judge Stegner doesn't agree with any of them about what their jurisdiction is like, it gets kind of complicated. But the point is,
Excuse me.
they can't just say in an opinion where nobody's arguing anything. Oh, and by the way, the law of the land is this. Nobody briefed this issue in essence. Nobody briefed it in any of the cases that came after it. They didn't set in stone via that opinion what the standard is. They tried by adopting the rule. The rule is the question. The court has to try to figure out, is it a procedural right or a substantive right? If the court says it's a procedural right, and essentially what the court is saying is that the courts get to decide how much it takes for one of us to
Thank you, Journey.
go and
Appreciate that.
lock up, put to death, etc. Which I can't find any case that has ever said that. They've all said that the standards being set by the Constitution or the legislature, setting these standards over and over and over again. So for the Idaho Supreme Court to issue a rule setting the standard of proof, even though there is a statute that says otherwise, they can't do that. That didn't become something that, I mean, they did it, but the court is in a position to consider whether or not they could do it. The court can tell the Idaho Supreme Court this rule isn't constitutional. Courts can do that. I mean, we consider bail issues. We consider bail on appeal, things like that. Statute versus procedural rights. Those things occur. And the lower court can look at that like anybody else can. Who's in the right? Is it the legislature or is it the court?
Oh, thank you.
So
We try to come
I think
up
the court
with
can
a funny
decide
one.
all these things. But if the court's going to say,
Like this one, because they mentioned, law from like the 1800s. We had the little fife and the drum. We got to have a little fun. It's Saturday night. We can let loose a little bit.
I hope you'll at least write a 32-page order in which you explain how right I am about everything except.
Thank you.
Bing, bing, bong,
I
bong.
appreciate the argument. I think it's really creative.
It's kind of like Judge goes, oh, that was so cute. Don't you feel like, oh, it was so cute that you said that? Oh, absolutely. I cover a lot of things, Beach. I haven't seen your name a lot in the chat, but thanks for hanging out. We do a lot of things here, and I always encourage people, please go to my homepage. You will see all my playlists there, and you will see all of the the cases that we cover. Yes, I appreciate your creativity. It's like, he's like, and you get a sticker, and you get a sticker, and you get a sticker. So it's funny. Oh, he was like, oh, it's so cute.
And I appreciate the journey back through history. I think it is an important factor in determining what the law is and why the law was established the way it was. But even you, okay, and I've heard this, but even in your brief, this is your quote, okay. that the whole of modern jurisprudence on the issue is against it, as well as the least one
Monocle.
founding father of this state. So
He laughed at him.
I
He
get it.
literally just laughed at them. Oh yes, that's great too. I like this. The little like Constitution papers, the scroll. He literally just laughed. He chuckled. Listen to Judge. He laughs. He goes, "Ha."
This is your quote, okay?
Ready? He laughed.
That the whole of modern jurisprudence on the issue is against it, as well as the least one founding father of this state. So I get it. I mean, what it comes down to me is that I am constrained by what I believe is settled law in Idaho. I may be wrong, but this is certainly an issue that you would have to bring up with a higher court, like the Idaho Supreme Court, and I look forward to getting that from your perspective settled in Idaho. We'll see. There's the rule, of course, which is we've talked about, but this argument really is fighting against some case law too. You may say that it's all dicta. I mean, that's debatable, I suppose. But the Idaho criminal rules, specifically Rule 6.5A,
Hello.
expressly states that probable cause is the standard, not beyond a reasonable doubt, and for a grand jury's indictment. And I think I have 3 or 4 recent, because this argument has been circulating in the state. I think I've had 3 or 4 district judge decisions denying the motion.
Excuse me.
I am going to deny that argument. I think the argument is good, but I can't go that far. Not today. I'll give you a written decision. I can't guarantee it's going to be 32 pages. It might be longer. It
What
might
if
be
he rolled
shorter.
on it?
So we'll see.
He's like, all right,
It's
that was
always,
cute.
Enjoyable to have an
He's like, all right, I
argument,
get peace.
with you, Mr. Longston. So
He's like, I'm out of here. Peace.
I think that's
about it.
all we have to do still. Ms. Taylor?
That's it for today, Your Honor.
Okay. And
Now that
Mr.
you totally just fucking trashed us. See ya.
Thompson?
Yes, sir. We're done for today.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna just have to say no on that one. Ollie says Carrie is so violent, always smashing buttons. This is why we can't have anything nice. Carrie breaks it. Oh, that's great. Megan says this case is a great example of why you should never trust someone who spells Brian with a Y. Thank God I don't spell my name with a Y. I think that's probably one of the best comments I've seen in here for like the longest time. Oh, that's a great comment. Megan gets the gold star. That's such a great comment. That is really great. And then Vanderhoof, she says she just tucked her tail between her legs. And Kato says Ann Taylor's like, I'm gonna sit here and shut the fuck up. Oh, this is so good. Oh, Carrie's loving it. That comment's so fucking good. This is a great example of why I should never trust someone. Oh, I don't know why that's making me laugh so hard. Maybe because my name is Brian and spelled with an I. Oh, that's great. It's so good. Megan gets the gold star tonight for the comment. That's really good. That's a good one, Megan. Very creative. Oh, that was creative. That was so cute.
nothing else to address then.
Look at Kohberger's like, I'm
Okay.
gonna get up and fucking stab someone now. Next guy I'm gonna stab is that lawyer.
Well, I hope you all got a touch of Idaho history and the law and how it works. And our Idaho and United States Constitution. So go out and learn some more. Okay? Thank you all.
Dude, he's handing them a fucking beat down. I love it. He handed them a beat down. Oh, I gotta go back and hear that again. He's like, all right, motherfuckers, we're out of here. Thanks for learning all that useless shit. Let's hear him say it again. He just totally smacks them on the way out.
Go out and learn some more. So, that's all we have to do
All right.
still. Ms. Taylor,
That's it for today, Your Honor.
okay, and Mr. Thompson,
Yes, sir, we're done for today.
okay, nothing else to address then. Okay, well,
It looked like Kohberger's like, oh, fuck, that didn't work. That didn't work.
hope you all got a touch of Idaho history and the law and how it works and our Idaho and United
Look at
States
Taylor. And Taylor's
Constitution.
like,
So,
do you see her trying to get up from the table? It's like, she's like, dude, you just insulted us so bad. Watch her
Anything else
body
to-
language. She's like, fuck. She's like, that was fucking embarrassing.
address that.
Ready? Watch her.
Okay, well, I hope you all got a touch of Idaho history and the law.
And that little head shake from Kohberger's like, that didn't fucking work. Watch Taylor when she gets up. She's like, yep, keep twisting the screw there at the end.
How it works and our
Right
Idaho
there.
and
Look at her.
United States Constitution. So go out and learn some more. Okay, thank you all. We're adjourned.
Look at, yeah. Yeah, let's stab him. Let's stab him. Pissed. Who did he nod to? Oh, the bailiff? That's odd. Good ending. What a great ending. Jeez, man. That's great. I'm glad we did that again. It was fun. You know, have to do a little, have to have a little fun sometimes. That was fun. What if he ruled on that? Let me look real quick. This was the last update in the case file. God, there's so many files to this case. It's got to be over 100. Easily over 100. Oh, wait. 11-1 media request creme. That's the last one. Order setting status conference. Order regarding notice of Zoom information. Yeah, nothing new. Nothing new. Nothing new. I think, wow, it's almost 1 a.m. here on the East. I almost said 1 p.m. Almost 1 a.m. on the East Coast. Late night streams, everybody. All right, let's go back here and look. LTL True Crime Podcast gifted out 5 memberships. I am the only true crime channel that gifts out memberships. I am the only channel that gives out tons of memberships. There's no other channel that gives out free memberships. Vanderhoof celebrates the 6 months. Thank you so much. Ollie with the 20. Thank you, dude. I appreciate you. Carrie with the 20, with the 5 gifted. Thank you. Ollie again with the 5 gifted. And then Journey celebrating her 1 month and says, I hope to make it to a membership live stream. Yeah, we do those a lot. I usually do them right after my extra at night. Oh, we gain an hour tonight. That's right. I'm tired. Vanderhoof says, I love this channel. Well, we love having you here. That's the one challenge that I'm having. And I don't know if it's just a time thing or what, but I'm trying to get more people into the lives. You know, normally I'm doing, you know, either 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I've been experimenting with doing some day shows. I've been doing day shows at like 9:30 or 10 a.m. So I'm trying to mix it up. You know, the real late night stuff works for everybody out on the West Coast. But unfortunately, I I work, so I still have a full-time job. So, I just try to stream as much as I can when I can. Vanderhoof says I miss a lot and I'm busy with 2 businesses. Yeah, it's cool. It's just I'm trying to grow that live audience. That's the most important thing to me because we're LTL, we're Let's Talk Live. This is a live show. I don't really cut a lot of videos and put a lot of videos out there. But yeah, usually we do the after streams for members and hang out and just kind of let our hair down a little bit. Not my hair because I have no hair, but we just hang out. Vanderhoof says I catch a lot on replay. Well, I appreciate that. The replays are important too. The replays are super important. But it is getting late. I'm getting tired. Tomorrow I have a lot of work to do. I'm going to put some work back into Chelsea's case tomorrow. I might put together a more updated timeline than we know. And if I can get that together, we'll do a live stream on that tomorrow night. I do have a planned off the record call with Steve, SF Investigates, tomorrow. Him and I have been chatting very extensively for the last 48 hours about Chelsea and her case. And I think it's going to be a great opportunity that I'm going to get to speak with him tomorrow. I'm going to get some questions together. And hopefully, I can get him over here at some point. I know he doesn't publicly want to talk about things yet, but I think at some point he will start speaking about Chelsea's case and what he found. And it's just another piece of the puzzle. And Steve did a really great job, and I commend him because he was really our lifeline to that investigation. And now, essentially, unfortunately, that lifeline's been cut off, and I'm sad because I feel like we're going to lose that connection that we had. And now time is going by, so time is not a good thing in a missing persons case. I think we can all know that and understand that. So I tried to think about raising money, but I can't come up with $5,000 or $10,000 because that's what it would take to get Steve back there. So it's just going to be armchair quarterbacking, I guess, and really trying to do what we can from here. I think on my next day off, I may try to start to call around to some of the businesses and see if I can get some people to talk. So we'll figure out something. I'm not letting this go. I will continue to talk about Chelsea and continue to put it out there. One frustrating thing to me was I'm finding out why my video. I'm just kind of dumbfounded why my videos are not in YouTube search. I have so many extensive videos about Chelsea, and when you go to YouTube search and you type in Chelsea Grimm, the third from the top, and it's someone that's done maybe 2 streams on it, titanium built. So I don't get it. This channel gets a lot of shadow banning, and it's very annoying. And I literally had to go down about 40 videos for my videos to show up in YouTube search. I'll show you. Watch this. So you already know how YouTube search works. They always bang out so it's always mainstream media first. Mainstream media first. Mainstream media. You have Grizzly True Crime. She got a huge channel. She did a great spot on that, by the way. But right there, boom, titanium built 7 days ago. I've been doing 2 streams a week, 3 streams a week on Chelsea Grimm. None of my stuff is in search. I think there's another video of titanium built. Look at this. I have the full body cam footage, and they don't even have that up there in search. JLR is barely even in there. JLR. newsnation. JLR again. Look at, none of my videos are showing up. Look at, none of my videos are showing. Look at titanium built, another video. None of my videos have shown up yet. Look, still none of my, oh, there it is. Boom. There's my first video that's shown. It's like 20 down. Here's my other video right here. I have more content on this case than any of these channels. Look at third titanium built stream. She has 3 in search and 2 ahead of all of my content. And I'm not trashing her. I'm just saying. I just make that. I have no problem with Tanya. But I'm just saying, I just don't get it. My channel gets extremely shadow banned. Look at T-Rev. Oh, there's my other video. No views on it. 9 exclusive fucking interview with a guy that was very questionable in this case. I have that interview. And it's not even in search. It's like way at the bottom. It's crazy. Now all my stuff is to the bottom of the search. Look at this. Pascal. Even Pascal got bumped out. And he does good stuff. It's crazy. I don't get it. No, she has about, I probably the last time I checked, about 13,000 subscribers. So I think some of the stuff that's fucking my channel up is the Timepiece Gentleman stuff. And I might actually hide that stuff and see what it does to the algorithm. I've been thinking about that and not doing any more stuff on it. So I just want to make it very clear. I have no problem with Tanya. Tanya and I just for some reason stopped talking. Once she got over to 10,000 subscribers, she didn't want to talk to me anymore. So kudos to you. We're both there now. I wish her the ultimate best of luck on YouTube. I hope she does well. So, how many shares? I don't know. I mean, Journey, look, I'm in a very exclusive chat with most of Chelsea's friends that I've gotten information. I've talked firsthand to the PI that was investigating her case. I had Elias on that was tied to the very controversial GoFundMe account. I was the first channel on YouTube to release the full body cam footage from Williams inside the cemetery. That was here on LTL. No one has that video except for me. I'm trying to think of what else. We had one of Chelsea's friends on twice on my channel, phone call once, and then did a live stream with me. We're obtaining the full state police search. That should be here soon, within the next couple of days. Carrie's going to get me that footage. I paid for that. I paid for the body cam footage. So I mean, we've done extensive amounts of videos and streams on Chelsea, and I'm not stopping. Like, I'm going to keep talking about her. I'm committed now. And like I said, it may not be at the frequency that a lot of because the information is going to dry up here pretty soon. But I'll keep talking about her. I don't know. What else do we have? Oh, I was in contact with PJ, her ex-boyfriend. I had a 30-minute phone call off record with him. I've been trying to get him on the show, but I lost contact with him on Halloween was the last time I heard from him. So again, if anybody wants to question how long I've been doing in covering her case, you can go right over. I'm going to show you right now, right on my homepage, right here. You can see all of the videos that I've put together about Chelsea. I am probably have the most extensive coverage on her case. These are just, but you can go right to that playlist. It's right on my homepage. Boom. It's just below my lives. Chelsea Grimm disappearance. And we talked about Karen Reed. We've obviously covered the Idaho case. Again, I was the first one to do the looking back stuff, and then everybody started copying me. And I'll go back and probably do that again. You know, we'll do a kind of an anniversary stream. The Moscow murders. I have over 250 videos there. We've done the Timepiece Gentleman stuff. More Chelsea Grimm. This is all Chelsea Grimm. members only. I got my little stuff. So a lot of great content here on my homepage. I'll drop the link if anybody's interested and you're new here. Appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe. Just trying to get this little engine that could channel to move. For some reason, it just stalls in this algorithm for some reason. Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate it. Carrie's a huge supporter. She's helped me out and been kind of a little bit of a secretary for me, and she believes in the channel. I got a lot of people here that are regulars that believe in the channel. Yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen, I was just at the courthouse the other day, when Turtle Boy was at court. There's a lot of good stuff here. It's just not hitting the algorithm, and it's just kind of frustrating. But YouTube doesn't happen overnight. You got to keep banging through this stuff. I mean, the other day I was just outside the courtroom right here. Look at that. Look at this video. It's phenomenal.
Elizabeth Proctor, because her husband is a state trooper who I have been criticizing for covering up the murder of John
Right there
O'Keefe
the other
and
day.
framing Karen Reed. It's undeniable.
And I'll be there in March when Karen goes to court. And I'll be streaming or shooting video right from the courthouse. There's a lot of great stuff on this channel. And if you haven't seen it, you're missing out. Go to the homepage, check it out. I was just streaming from court the other day. So yeah, I appreciate everybody being here. It's midnight now because we go back an hour in about an hour. Megan says, you did awesome. One more enjoyable Turtle Boy interviews. Yeah, I've interviewed Turtle Boy. I've interviewed Jennifer Coffindaffer here. I've had a lot of great one-on-ones. You can go back and watch all those. We had the Danilo stream. Jeez, that was like 14 days. Those were great. I can't figure it out. This algorithm just doesn't like this channel. And I'm going to tell you, I think a lot of it is that the Timepiece Gentleman stuff is bringing in people from that. I'm just trying to think from that niche. It's timepiece related. So I'm still getting a lot of people that are just interested in wristwatches. They don't care about any of this true crime stuff. They're just coming for Timepiece Gentlemen. So they're not coming to the lives when we do lives on Idaho or Karen Reed or Turtle Boy or any of that stuff. So they're just here for Timepiece Gentlemen stuff. So, that's why I thought maybe I hide that stuff. Let's see. So Ali says, I was poking around and only difference I can find in analytics is accessibility, CC related in terms of search value related. Yeah, maybe we can talk a little bit more about that offline, Ali. I'd love to. Yeah, I've been thinking about hiding the TPG because the thing is, I even noticed this over the last week. Still one of my top videos that it sucks because you're making money off it. And it's a great video, but it's still one of the top ranked videos on my channel. And it's like, I don't want to keep steering it in that direction, so I don't know. It's a head scratcher. I don't get it. It's a head scratcher. Megan says, I'll be in Mass for some of Karen Reed in Turtle Boy's hearing. Hopefully I'll get to say hello in person. Yeah, absolutely. I'm very approachable. I was out there with I was out there the other day. Let me pull it up really quick. The video sucks. I'm kind of angry about that. I wish I could fix the bit rate on it, but I tried streaming from court and the bit rate was really wanky because the connection there just sucks. But I was out in front of the court talking to some of the really amazing supporters. We had Rita on the channel. We did a stream with her, but you can hear the audio was great. It just something happened with the bit rate. And unfortunately, I don't know how to fix that. Yeah, I've been hashtagging. Carrie said something about hashtagging, and I've been trying to do that. Yeah, I may do that, Christine. Yeah, Rita was great. But Carrie mentioned stuff about hashtags, and I've been doing that in the videos now in the description. So that might seem to work a little bit. I noticed some of the videos I've been doing that in has been getting a little bit more play on that. So I don't know. I get frustrated, I guess, because I put a lot into this and it's like my life. I love doing this. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I don't want to go back to I don't want to be working a corporate job in a year, but it's going to take a lot to get there. Yeah, I'm going to start hashtagging. Yeah, I do a lot of the hashtagging. So Carrie usually looks, I mean, my thumbnails are great, my titles are great. It's just not getting out there. So all right, we're coming up on 2 hours. Let's see. T-Rev has members FTA. That means for the algorithm, maybe they can do that to help. Yeah, I don't know. Makes sense since we see things we can't unsee if you're a true crime warrior. That's really why I didn't want, and I was so against this for the longest time. And Carrie can probably say you were. I did not want to add true crime into my title. Didn't want to do it. I resisted it for so long because I wanted just LTL to be just a open platform for whatever we want to talk about here. And at some point, probably down the road, it's just going to be LTL. But I stuck the true crime in there because if someone sees that title, it may pull them in a little bit and go, oh, what's going on over there? Because if you're looking through the search and you just see LTL podcasts, you might be like, eh. But if you see LTL True Crime Podcast, you might be like, oh. And I might actually drop podcast at some time and just be LTL True Crime. I think that sounds a little bit better. I think the podcast is a little dated. It's not really a podcast. It's more like a vidcast or I don't know, a vid pod or whatever the hell you want to call it. But LTL True Crime sounds good. So titles this one, the 6-finger death punch. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll mess around with that. That's a good one. Because right now I have Judge hands Kohberger team a beatdown, denies indictment dismissal. Judge hands down Kohberger team a 6-finger beatdown. I don't know if I could fit it in there. Denies. Yeah, it's not going to fit in there. Actually, if I take out the hashtags in the title. It went to flinger. Judge hands Kohberger's team a 6-finger beatdown, denies indictment dismissal. People can be like, what the fuck is that? Oh, I love late nights. I'm so sleep deprived right now. But that 6-finger beatdown, yeah. 5-finger death punch is a copyrighted, not 6, right? Copyright on 6-finger death punch. No, there's no copyright on that. You're just putting it into words. It's not like I'm playing their music. All right, we're at 2 hours. I usually don't like to go over 2 hours. I'm trying to keep these to an hour and a half, but it's Saturday night. We're letting our hair down. We're loose. I'm going to wrap this one up because I'm tired. I worked all day. I didn't have a good day at work. I'd rather have been home streaming. But we'll wrap this up. I'm going to do some research again on Chelsea's case tomorrow. And hopefully I have an updated timeline for a presentation tomorrow night. If not, I'll think of something. And I'm excited to talk to Steve tomorrow. So, oh, thanks, Carrie. I try. It has its moments. I think it has its moments. but there's always things that we can improve on. But I appreciate your support. Thank you. Always supporting. And we're going to have the state police body cam search video of Chelsea Grimm soon. Carrie said that I think there's actually a couple of videos they're giving us. So I'm excited about that, to release that on the channel. And again, we have the full body cam footage here. Full Chelsea body cam footage. And that video is getting no views. It's insane. It only has 272 views on it in 4 days. Full body cam footage. I might try to retitle it, but if you want to see it, you can see it right there. I just dropped the link. All right, everybody, have a good night. I'm going to get out of here and get some rest. I'll see you all back here tomorrow night live. Be good, be kind. I appreciate everybody hanging out on this Saturday. Thanks. Bye.